I'm going to be reacting to a video by Life Price. And essentially now everyone is starting to scream recession. So when you open your phone on TikTok, YouTube, anything like that, right, you're going to get a flood of advice. Buy tuna, start a side hustle, get monetized, but ultimately everyone's panicking, which isn't a strategy. And neither is hoarding either. Hoarding canned meat and water and all this stuff really isn't a plan either, especially if you don't have cash flow. So in 2026, the rules of survival essentially have shifted from growing business or growing stuff to essentially solvency, which means cash flow. Having a healthy amount of cash flow or investing in your skill set that will get cash flow. So I found a compilation, like I said, from Life Price of real people. And I want to break it down to see what's actually good advice and what's just noise, because I guarantee you there's a lot of noise. I haven't watched this video yet. So let's get started and see what this is about. All right, let's get it going.
If you're smart, you'll listen up. We're about to hit a giant recession, so I'm about to show you some ways you can make money during the recession rather than staying broke. Money! You're going to dabble in the stock market starting now. If you can't do calls, then you can do puts. If the market's going down, all my traders, you're going to do puts. You're going to start investing in crypto, not tomorrow, not next month, not next year. You're going to do it now because there's a recession coming and Trump is our president. Y'all remember COVID, how there was no food on the shelves? Round two. So for you personally, you're going to start stocking up on things, canned goods, meats, put meat in the freezer. If your baby has milk, you're going to get the milk that stays on the shelf. But you're also going to buy a little extra because I hate to say it, but you're going to need to sell that shit. Make some little emergency kits, okay? People are going to buy that shit up. Hurry up and get monetized. Hurry up and get monetized. And the most cliche, learn a high income skill. Now think about it. If people are laid off of work because we're in a recession and they're stuck at home and TikTok is back, you're either going to entertain them on TikTok or you're going to teach them something on TikTok. More than likely, you're going to need to teach them something because statistics show people are now watching more how-to videos rather than entertainment videos. I'm a dabble in a little bit of both though. I don't care.
In this video.
All right. Well, that is essentially, I'm getting the video ready. I mean, this is his response, but ultimately, half of that's bad advice, if I'm being honest. Investing in high income skills is probably the best thing. Doing stocks, doing options and puts, that's not investing in making money. That's speculating, and you have to be intimately aware of the economy before you start speculating. And unfortunately, this woman doesn't really, if I'm being honest, I don't believe she has the insight to be able to speculate in a way where she will be positive over time. The best advice is, yes, learn a high income skill. And that's not day trading. That's not SaaS marketing. No, a high income skill, in my opinion, is something like the trades. I'm becoming an electrician. That's a high income skill because people need electricians. The best high income skill from foundation roots is to find a skill set that's valuable. And in this day and age, honestly, it is trades. White collar work isn't doing too well. I'm trying to, some of the other things she mentioned when it comes to making emergency kits, you could do that. But essentially you are selling your stuff for others that make some cash, which is good for the short term, but won't solve the problem. The biggest thing you could do is invest in a high income skill, which in my opinion would be go into the trades or learn, go into some type of certification where you can learn an actual skill, real skill that's easily marketable. Once you have that, then the savings account. Get liquid, get cash, get a savings account. Once you have those, that's when you can invest in crypto. That's when you can invest in stocks. But you need to be liquid first, because what's going to happen is the time gets rough and she has all these stocks in crypto and you need cash. Guess what's about to happen? She's going to start selling on the downturn, and that's what you don't want. So let's move on to the next one.
Especially your frugal ones, because they're the ones that are going to help you survive this fourth or fifth or sixth, whatever once in a lifetime event we are going to experience. Here's my Costco list of the thing that I'm going to do. Number one, you're going to get tuna. Tuna lasts a long time. Tuna is cheap. You can make tuna in different ways. So tuna is good. You don't have a first aid kit already, get one. If you have a bunch of band-aids and stuff already, eyelash. Just make sure you have your basic first aid items somewhere. Good to get Tylenol, get ibuprofen at Costco. It's very expensive already at stores like CVS. Cancel your subscriptions. Need to make some friends. This is the summer when you're going to make friends. My friend and I share Hulu's subscription. Then my other friend, her and I, we share Disney Plus. And so start making friends, start bartering, start making alliances with your neighbors. If you're in New York City like me and you think that buying in bulk is too much, it doesn't fit anywhere, again, make friends and split the cost. I split the cost of toilet paper and paper towels with my neighbor. Coffee at Costco. Make sure you get your coffee. It's going to get really expensive. I treat myself. I like my little treats. I'm probably going to still buy myself a little treat here and there. They were $8 before. They're going to get expensive for a little while. One might seem counterintuitive, but if you need to buy clothes, buy quality clothes. Yes, it may cost more, but it's going to last you longer. And when you divide the cost by the number of wears, it is always cheaper. Keep it efficient. I think that's all I have for now. Anybody else, if you have tips, comments, please let us know.
All right, and real quickly, I agree. First aid kit, I think is really important. You can literally get a small first aid kit from Dollar Tree. I actually have one in my car. Comes with band-aids, just small stuff. I would recommend a full first aid kit, of course, in case anything happens. You're able to do first aid. So I think that's definitely a nice to have, or I'm gonna say required, but you really should have one in case something does happen in your home or in your car. Like I said, I have one for my car. Tuna. Yes and no. Any canned goods, actually, I think what she really meant, any real canned goods has a long shelf life. So yes, if you're trying to prep in this situation, then yeah, it's much better to get canned goods. When it comes to some of the other things she was talking about, I think but the most important thing that actually she doesn't even realize that I push in this channel is community. Communities is what's going to help you survive. The fact that you said, I'm talking to my neighbor and we share a subscription, that's a consequence of being able to be connected into your community. Community, to me, is the best advice I think she gave in recessions and hard times. The only way we can get through it is together, is to work together, is to collaborate. Okay, well, if I can be an electrician and you can be a doctor, then now we have a doctor and electrician together. You have to work together. Trying to do it on your own to protect all the risk is too much for most people. I mean, you can get away with it, but it's better to have community that you can rely on. Say, hey, do you have some extra fruit? Yeah, I got some here. Here's some for you. Hey, you got an extra first aid? Hey, I got you. That's how you want to approach it. So let's see this next one.
A lot of people don't realize is that if your car gets repossessed, you can absolutely get it back. They want you to get it back. They want you to take that fucking car back. They don't want your car. They know it depreciated, and then the bank knows that it's going to lose money on trying to resell your car. So they want you to take it back. It's going to cost a pretty penny, but if you can come up with that money, you can get your car back. Do I know this from experience? Yes, I do. When I opened the door and saw my car hooked up to a tow truck, I thought it was over. But the tow truck driver was like, just come here, you can get your car back. Cost me about $1,200, but I got my car back. And I hated that car. It was a lemon. The whole reason that I was behind on payments is because I was paying to fix the thing since I got it. And Chevy, I don't even want to get in there because I'm not trying to get sued or something. And yes, it was a brand new car. It should have been a lemon, but whatever, besides the point. You can get your car back if it gets repoed. Also, if you're behind on your rent, I need you to understand that they cannot just come kick you out that day. Like, there's a whole process to an eviction. And most landlords are not willing to go through that process. So if you just call your landlord and be like, hey, I hate to tell you this, but things are really expensive right now. Your landlord, a lot of the times, especially if it's a private landlord, will make up payment arrangements with you. Ask me how I know. The whole process of a landlord trying to find a new tenant and trying to fix up everything that you messed up, because I don't care how clean you are, you're gonna scuff a wall. It's gonna happen. They don't want to go through that. They would rather just like keep a paying tenant, even if the tenant pays late and pays all their late fees. I mean, technically they're getting extra money. So yeah, those are just two things. If you're in the midst of poverty, which a lot of us are finding ourselves there now, I've kind of always been on the poverty line. And a lot of the times I was well below the poverty line. So this does not scare me. I am surviving. It sucks. I hate it, but I know I'll get through it because I've done it a million times. But for all of you newbies out there who are finding yourself newly poverty stricken, you can get through it. I promise. It sucks. It sucks. You might spend extra money because that's just how poverty works somehow. But you can get through it. Housing, I don't even want to get into housing right now. I know everybody's situation is iffy and everybody's situation is unique, but the eviction process is about 2 months long. So if you find yourself in that, at least you have 2 months. Pay your car insurance in case you need to live in it.
Well, I'm let her keep going because that's enough, but we'll move on to the next one. But oh yeah, there it is. But she has some good survival skills. She's managing the best she can, and she has a toughness about her, but unfortunately is misguided. And late fees to your rent isn't going to help you. It's just going to put you more behind. Our goal is, if you can, to attack first what you can live without. Most people don't want to deal with that, but if you can cut off 25% of your spending because you have subscriptions, or like I saw on her background, she has all these rice cookers and air fryers up top. Like, do you really need, or do you use an air fryer that much? You're buying all this stuff you're not realizing that you're paying for that you could save money on. And if you save that money, you're not paying late fees, and which keeps more money in your pocket. I do agree with what she said when it comes to real estate landlords. Most of them will rather work with a paying tenant than look for a different one. But she went a little too far by saying, oh, they won't want to get rid of you. No, in times like this, if they can find a more stable tenant, they will get rid of you, especially if you are either behind in rent at all, which she keeps saying she's behind in rent. It's like that can mess up people's cash flow. So they could take a chance. And as she said, as how I know, I used to be a landlord. If you are 3 weeks, 4 weeks late all the time, and yeah, you might pay the late fees now, but eventually you're going to run out of money. And then when that happens, I'm going to be left out to dry. And I'm like, no. So no, depending on the landlord, they could get rid of it. So let's check out this next one.
Content for just a minute today, because I would like to talk about personal finance. I feel like this week my feed is suddenly full of recession core tips for the girlies. Story time. When I say I grew up poor, I lived in a house without indoor plumbing. My only food security at all was school lunches. I took baths at other people's houses. So when I say I know, I know. Meanwhile, I am participating in my own No by April as kind of a form of personal and financial reset. But the thing the girlies need to know is that you are not going to be able to personal finance your way out of the current economic problem. No by April is not going to fix it. Couponing isn't going to fix it. What is going to fix it is paying attention to the systemic issues and how we have gotten ourselves into this moment. Now, I don't want to poo-poo the idea of being financially responsible. I mean, sure, yes, use your coupons, shop at the farmer's market for produce because it won't be tariffed. The real recession tip for the girlies is that you can implement any austerity measures in your personal finance that you want to, but I promise you that if you are trying to buy a house, you're trying to save for college for your kids, you're trying to save for retirement, you're the one getting hosed right now. And there is no amount of personal finance that's gonna fix that. Anyway, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
That is dangerous, actually. She keeps saying, well, austerity means to cut back. Austerity won't work. It's working in my life right now. What she's doing is she's trying to obfuscate responsibility by saying, oh, well, the people in power are the reason why you're feeling this way. She's correct. The people in power are the reason why you feel this way. But if you want to get out of this situation, then you saying austerity isn't going to work isn't great advice. Austerity does work because ultimately, if you change, if you're capable of changing what you want out of your life, and let's say, well, I don't want this new car anymore. I don't want to pay a car note here anymore. I don't want to keep paying for overpriced things anymore. Now, are there things you're going to have to pay for? Yeah, food. Yep, you're going to have to. Yeah, couponing won't particularly work. But what will work is changing your lifestyle, what you want out of your life. Because if you change, well, I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck no more, well, then you will have, in the grand scheme of your plan, you won't overspend no more. So austerity is actually the number one. For most people, it's not an income problem, it's a spending problem. Spending problem. And you can try to dress it up as much as you want. As a former professional, most people will dress it up. Well, I need this car. Well, I need to go out all the time. I mean, granted, having a bad babe in other people's houses, I get it. I used to have to do that too. But to say, oh, well, it's not on you, it's me. And then she keeps trying to say, but when it mentions it, my audience, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. She was correct about, you ain't going to get all this done by April. This is a multi-year journey to get financially free. You aren't going to do this overnight. Almost impossible unless you hit the lottery, which I don't even recommend you doing. All right, so let's get to this next one.
Have a great Sunday, y'all.
One thing about me, my finances stay recession-proof ready, and that's because I live below my means, but not beneath my joy. It's really a lifestyle, it's not a flex. Well, Christian, how are you able to live below your means? How are you able to do that? It's simple. My income is far greater than my expenses. My expenses are very low for things that do not matter to me, like cars do not matter to me. I have a running car that I've had since 2012. It's 13 years old. It's paid off. I don't need to spend money on that. I don't care. I do not like buying things that lose value the moment that I purchase it. I don't like that. So I stack my cash and I stack experiences. I spend my money on experiences, things that I'm going to remember for a lifetime. I also plan ahead. I'm spontaneous because I can be, but I'm not as spontaneous as I was a couple years ago. I just plan ahead for a lot of things. I just went on a 2-week vacation. I started planning back in March. I bought flights and everything ahead of time. And I started mapping out the excursions that I wanted to do, how much they were going to cost. So that way I'm not blindsided when I get on a trip like, oh my God, I didn't know that was that much. Yes, I knew. So as you can see, living below my means does not take away from my life, but it makes my life easier. That way I'm always ready for whatever may come. Let me know in the comments.
That's that right there. That's it. Thank you, sister. Thank you. You finally proved me right. That's how you do it. And look at the freedom she has now. She plans ahead. She doesn't overspend. Her income's up here. Her expenses are here. She has all this buffer. And she's still living the life she wants. That's what it means to take responsibility of your financial life. And now she has the freedom to do whatever she wants at a time where everyone's struggling. Power to the sister right there, man. Listen. I'm loving it. Let's go to the next one.
Give this lifestyle a try.
Now is not the time to be exploring and experimenting with different types of products, whether that be makeup or skincare, shoes, clothes, even food. Now's the time to stick to your tried and true brands, the stuff that you know you'll like and you'll use. Buy that stuff, use it, you know you like it. Please try not to get bored. Find something else too with your imagination to do. And this is because you don't want to waste money on things that you might not end up liking. Like if you buy different makeup or different skincare or even food, and you try it and you're like, oh, I don't really like that. You don't want stuff to go to waste. That's literally you just wasting your money. Like if you go to Costco and you buy a big box of like cereal or something like for your kids, you're like, oh, my kids might like this bluey cereal. Like we should try this. And they don't like it. And then you're just wasted $10 and it's going to sit in your cupboard and go stale. Or you can give it away to somebody maybe and somebody else will try, but you still wasted $10 of your own money. Now is not the time to do that. Now is the time to just stick to your tried and true products. Buy the makeup you've been always buying, buy the shoes, buy the coat, like buy stuff you know you'll use, you know you'll wear, you know you won't be wasting money on because you end up not liking it or your kids end up not liking it, whatever it may be.
They keep telling us we're
Not too bad. I mean, I agree. You shouldn't be experimenting too much, but you should be experimenting if your goal is to lower your lifestyle. So if it means that you could save more money while getting the same product, then do that. Like this is an example from mine. I remember that I was talking to a girl and we were about to go hang out and chill, and I was talking about getting snacks. So she wanted to go to Whole Foods and get snacks. And I'm like, and this is candy snacks, not like snacks. And I'm like, let's just go to Dollar Tree and get it there. And she was like, oh, I don't want to shop at Dollar Tree. I'm like, the same candy is $1.25 in Dollar Tree when it's $4 in Whole Foods. That's the example. It's like, no, I'm going to Dollar Tree. And then all of a sudden later, she was like, okay, we can go. I'm like, of course we can go. It's the same candy. So like, that's what it means to be a smart shopper. And I'm sure people are doing that now out of necessity, but we should have been doing that even when times are good. This is where it's to be mindful about what you're spending your money on and what you want out of your life when it comes to your needs and wants.
we're not in a recession, but there's one coming. And so here's everything I did in 2025 to prepare for it and everything you can still do before it's official. The first thing I did was pay off all of my consumer debt. Credit cards, gone. Car, gone. The second thing I did was expand my total credit limit. The third thing I did was start saving. I opened a high yield savings account and put my emergency fund there. The fourth thing I did was start investing. I opened and maxed out my Roth IRA and I opened a brokerage. Lastly, I opened up lines of credit. I opened up one line of credit with my small hometown credit union, and I opened up another one and my new one here in Austin, Texas. Now, I know all those things can be very daunting on their own, let alone all together, so I'll be following up with videos on each of those 5 topics where I'll teach you how I did it, how it works for me, why it works for me, why I chose to do it, and how you can make it work for you too.
That was amazing advice. Not financial advice, but the way she did it is exactly how you need to do it. The first thing you got to do, get a healthy cash flow. Second thing you need to do, get rid of all consumer debt. You got rid of her credit cards and car. Perfect. Right after that, get the emergency fund. Once you have the emergency fund, now you can start investing. As long as you're healthy in your cash flow and you have your 6 months to a year of savings, now you start investing. She chose the Roth IRA, which is amazing. The Roth IRA, one of the great things about Roth IRA is you put, after you pay your taxes, the what's called net income, the net income money you're making from your job. If you invest it into a long-term retirement account, which is what an IRA is, a Roth means you paid your taxes already. So when you take the money out at 59 and a half, which is what the age is, everything's tax-free. It might be 58 and a half. I can't remember, it's 58 or 59. But all the money you take out once you hit 59 is tax-free. So the fact that she's maxing it out every year, she is well on her way to be financially free. She keeps going down that path.
Something that I'm really trying to work on this year is just not carrying a credit card balance anymore. I first got a credit card when I graduated college or when I was in college, and I was very responsible in the beginning when it came to like paying off my balance and everything. But once I started working and getting a little bit of money, I just didn't really care about the balance anymore because I was just like, I'm going to get paid again and I'm just going to pay it off. It might take me 6 months to pay off 10 grand. It might take me longer, but I know I'm going to pay it off. So why? Like, why pay it now? And I'm just coming to the realization that having a credit card and having points, getting points or getting cash back is just not worth it for me anymore. because the amount of money that I was carrying a balance on and the amount of interest that I was getting charged every month just wasn't making any sense. And yeah, you could say, well, just pay your credit card off at the end of the month. The problem was that I just genuinely, like, my brain did not want to. And I'm also noticing, like, within myself over the past couple years, that the more money that I make, the more I'm comfortable with. Like, the more money on credit cards that I become comfortable with. And I don't think that is normal. Just because I'm making a little bit more money, I shouldn't be, like, okay with carrying a little bit of more debt. Some things are genuinely just not for everyone, and that is okay. Like, I genuinely don't think that having a credit card is for me anymore. Like, I am still gonna have my credit card because obviously having a credit score is important, but I'm also gonna try to figure out how am I gonna be able to maintain a good credit score without using my credit card.
All right. Well, that's very wise to understand that, hey, credit cards aren't for me. Very wise. The fact of the matter is what she's experiencing is legitimately lifestyle inflation. Is that because I'm making more money, I don't have to worry about stuff anymore. Now, it's important to have fiscal discipline. You must stay disciplined. You should never pay interest. The points is a way to get you to get the credit card and hopes you carry a balance. From the statistics I found, 50% of the revenue that credit card companies make is from the interest. It's not from the business swipe fees. It's not from the annual fee for some of these cards. It's the interest. And she said, well, it's not normal. It's specifically designed that way to make you, psychology wise, it makes your brain not want to feel that pain so you don't pay it off. You have to be aware that's what they're doing, and you're using the tool for your advantage rather than theirs. So it's great that she recognized it. I will give her a small bit of advice. Now with the new credit scores, they are allowed to take your rent and certain utilities on it. I'm actually getting paid. I'm actually having my credit score being helped from the rents I'm paying through one of the credit cards I own. So there are some ways you can work around your credit score, but if you can't use a credit card, then don't use your credit card if you don't have the discipline, because you must have discipline or you're going to lose.
I was noticing that I was just buying things from my next paycheck. So I was saying, well, I'm just going to put this on my credit card and I'm going to get paid in 2 weeks. So I'm just going to be able to, like, pay for this. Like, it's not even going to matter to me anymore. And yes, like, I would pay down some of the balance, but I was still carrying a lot of balance on my cards. So this time I've racked around 13 grand in credit card debt. And my mission is to pay it off in 4 months. And that is a very aggressive payout, but I'm going to find a way to do it because I just cannot be always having credit card debt anymore. Like, it just makes no sense. I'm just losing so much money. And it took me so long to realize this, but I'm just glad that I finally did. A large struggle with that was just the fact that, like, in 2025, my money was just so inconsistent when it came to my cash flow because I was in law school and, you know, I would have to wait for a check to clear or a check to come in. So I needed money to live and, like, I needed money. So I would just use my credit cards instead of actually using my savings because I was like, I don't want to use my savings. I don't want to tap into my savings because, you know, I just need to have that money there. Like, I need to know that I have some kind of savings. So I was usually, like, funding a lot of things that I could with my credit cards, and the things that I couldn't, like bills, I was just paying with my savings account. One thing that I did recently that is going to help me, like, switch gears is just on Apple Pay, I changed the primary card, so the card that comes up every time you click for Apple Pay. So I changed it to my debit card. And I know it sucks that, like, I'm not getting points or I'm not getting cash back on my purchases anymore. But honestly, like, oh well, you know, like, I don't kind of, I shouldn't be, you know, I'm not the kind of person that should be. So another thing that I also did was I downloaded the Rakuten app, and this is not an ad and this is not sponsored at all. But with Rakuten, I do some purchases through the app, like Bloomingdale's or whatever, or Lululemon, like wherever I want to shop. And I would still get cash back on those purchases. And a lot of the times I was getting more cash back on Rakuten than I was getting on any of my cards. And when it comes to like points and all of that stuff, I'm just not that savvy. I wish I was. It just doesn't matter to me anymore. Like, that's not something that I value enough for it to like outweigh the harm that I was getting myself into when it came to like paying interest on my credit cards.
All right, I'm gonna let that go. But that's very great awareness for her to understand that. But she has a spending problem, clearly. I'm glad she's taking steps to try to get around it, but ultimately she has a big spending problem. And these companies are made to keep slowly edging you on so you can keep spending more and more. And the website she's talking about actually sells your financial data. That's why they give you cash back. And there's a lot of these platforms now. I actually use one called Upside, where I give massive cash back on gas. Same thing. It's just all these are all trying to get a piece of that data pie. Because that data is very valuable, especially for advertisers. So this is some good stuff, some bad stuff. I just wanted to give you a good understanding about this is kind of what we're in when it comes to this recession. We're already in a recession. They're just finally finding out. But depending on her cash flow, she could pay down that credit card debt. But when times are tough, the risk of you losing your income, losing your job is higher now. That's why I really wish her well and hope she pays it off. But in this climate, it's going to be hard to maintain it. So hopefully she can get ahead of it, and hopefully everyone else can get ahead of it. So hope you had a great video. Hope you learned some stuff, and I'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe if you like this video.